Hi, I'm Jeff Hajek, the owner and founder of Valaction. This video is part of my lean training system. It was originally released as a DVD a long time ago, but times have changed and the look of some of these LTS videos is now a bit dated. The content is still spot on though, so rather than just discontinue the line, I am posting the majority of each of the 36 videos here, with the remainder available at Valaction Videos. That's our video service where you can download a wealth of supporting content and watch subscriber-only videos. I recommend subscribing and hitting the notification button if you want to make sure you don't miss any new content. I would also really appreciate if you would hit the like button if this video is helpful and you want to see more content similar to it. The like button helps us get found on YouTube, but it also lets us figure out where you want us to put our future effort. Now enjoy the free version of this video.
Hello, my name is Jeff Hajek. I'd like to welcome you to this presentation on how to effectively use a run chart in your problem-solving efforts. We've got some pretty simple objectives for this training. First, we want to discuss what a run chart is and why it's useful to you. And of course, this training would not be very valuable if you could not walk away with the ability to make a run chart on your own. So let's tackle that first objective and talk about what a run chart is. A run chart is a visual tool that shows how a particular value varies over time. In this example, the vertical or y-axis shows the number of minutes it takes me to get ready for work in the morning. The horizontal or x-axis shows the day. Note that because we only track this time on weekdays, weekends are not shown on the timeline. Now looking at this run chart, you can get a pretty good idea of how things are, but that's only half the story. There's something very valuable that's missing here. You need a frame of reference. Without a target shown on the chart, you have no way of knowing if you're doing well or not. In this image, the goal is shown as a horizontal line. That means you're tracking something that you want to have stay in a steady state. In a continuous improvement environment, though, more often than not, that line will be sloped, and that indicates that you want the values to get better. And speaking of better, it's a good idea to make sure that better is obvious on your run chart. If you're tracking productivity, good is generally up. But if you're looking at defects, you want the line to go down. I like to use a big green arrow so there's no question about whether the run chart is tracking in the correct direction.
I hope you are getting something valuable out of this video. If you want to get more out of this program, we recommend watching it on Valaction Videos. You'll be able to watch the entire video, mostly ad-free, and view subscriber-only programs. You'll also have access to a load of continuous improvement downloads.
Now that we have a basic idea of what a run chart is, let's talk about why it is valuable to you. Well, first of all, because it is so visual, whenever there is an aberration that shows up, when something unusual happens, it becomes very apparent on the run chart. That's really the beauty of this tool. When you see that aberration, you can link it to a specific point in time, and that makes it much easier to track down the root cause of the problem. And of course, the closer you fill out your run chart to real time, the less lag there is between the error and the defect showing up, and that makes it even easier to solve problems. The other big benefit of the run chart is its visual nature. Patterns jump right off the chart and are easy to identify. You just don't get that same impact, that same visual impact, when you're looking at a series of numbers on a spreadsheet. And while this next bullet point is not scientific in nature, there is a big benefit to being able to see how the variation looks visually. There's really two types of variation that affects a system. The first is common cause variation, and that's the stuff that's basically built into your system. The other type of variation is special cause. This is when something unusual happens, some external force that comes in and affects your results. Let me give you a mental image to help make the distinction between special cause and common cause. Think of an icicle hanging off of a tree over a patch of fresh snow. As it warms up, the icicle is going to start melting and there'll be little drips that hit the snow. Most of the drips will fall in a pretty tight group. They're not going to be exactly the same spot, but pretty close. That slight bit of spread in where the drips fall is common cause variation. But if a gust of wind comes while one of the drips is falling, it might land a few inches away. That would be special cause. The nice thing about a run chart is it makes those outliers, that special cause variation, jump out. As I mentioned earlier, keep in mind that eyeballing the difference between special and common cause variation is not very precise. If you do want to get more scientific in this approach, you'll have to pull out a different tool. Control charts are much better suited for distinguishing between special and common cause variation. And the last big benefit of a run chart is that it shows change. And change comes in two basic forms. The first is when something major happened. And in that case, you'll see what looks like the step of a stair on your run chart. The whole line is reset to a new level. The other form of change is when there's a trend happening. In that case, you'll see what looks like a hill. You'll see a slope as the numbers start improving or going down. We'll take a closer look at each of these situations in just a few minutes. Let's talk now about some times when it is appropriate to use a run chart. The most likely location is on your KPI board. And in this application, run charts serve two main purposes. The first is to make sure that the critical aspects of the business remain on track. And the second is to see how you are doing at meeting your improvement targets. But because run charts are such an effective problem-solving tool, they are also very useful when you're doing an investigation. In many cases, you know that there's a problem, but you don't know exactly what's going on. Because of their visual nature, run charts can provide you with exceptional clarity and understanding about a problem. The need for that deep understanding goes up significantly when you are involved in a Kaizen event. Bringing several people together for a week-long activity can be costly. The team functions more effectively when it is operating with good data. The problem with run charts, though, is that they track that data over a long period of time. It may not be practical to gather that information up during a week-long event. For that reason, an individual team member may be asked to prepare a run chart well in advance of the team gathering.
As part of the Lean training system this video comes from, we offer a variety of Lean Lego training packages. These include our Lean Lego flow simulation, mistake proofing or Poka-yoke Lean Lego exercise, and our visual controls and 5S Lean Lego exercise. We've also got an office flow simulation for those not implementing continuous improvement on the shop floor. Click the links in the description below or click on cards that pop up on this video to learn more. We'll also add links at the end.
Let's talk now about how to actually put a run chart together. There's a common perception that run charts have to be done on the computer. This is not actually true. Handwritten run charts can be very effective in certain situations. For example, an operator in a work cell can have a handwritten run chart posted at the entrance to their area. The axes on the chart can be hand-drawn or done on a computer. Make sure that the scale is set up appropriately for the data that you will be collecting. As with any chart, be sure to label the units and make sure the chart has a title. And don't forget to include the target line on the chart. I also like to see an indicator showing which way good is. Remember, sometimes a decreasing metric indicates an improvement. Once the chart is laid out, it's a relatively simple process to update it. At the end of the day, the data is tallied, and the first point is marked on the chart with a simple dot. On the second day, the data collection step is repeated, and another dot is added to the chart. This time, though, a line is drawn connecting the two dots. And as this process is repeated over and over, the data begins to paint a picture about the performance in the work area. In the case of this chart, the year started off slow but got on track rather quickly. Presumably, there were countermeasures done on January 1st and 2nd. I would like to draw your attention to the scale on this chart. Notice that January 6th and 7th are not shown. That's because in this year that was a weekend. The chart is just a little bit easier to read if the line is continuous. Leaving non-working days on the chart can cause confusion. While handwritten run charts in work areas can be very useful, the majority of run charts you see will be done on computer, and the most common application used to create them is Microsoft Excel. Fortunately, using this Office application is very simple. The first step is to highlight the data that you want to show on the graph. The data can be shown horizontally or vertically as it is in this example. Just be sure to match up a date or time period with each data point. When you click on the Insert tab, you will see the chart options. At that point, select Line and choose the style of run chart that you would like. There are a few different options, but in most cases, you'll be using a simple line chart or a line chart with markers.
This video comes from Velaction's Lean Training System, which takes a module-based approach to learning about continuous improvement. Modules include a PowerPoint presentation and student guides for every video, plus there are many exercises and quizzes as well. There's also a whole host of supporting content in the form of terms in our Continuous Improvement Companion and downloadable articles. Our modules are currently available in our store and as downloads at Velaction Videos. Click the links in the description below or click on the cards that pop up on this video to learn more. We'll also add links at the end.
As soon as you make your selection, Excel will create a basic line chart for you. You will have to flesh it out with some more detail though. When you first create your chart, the chart tools will open. Otherwise, you'll have to highlight your chart to get to this menu. With this menu option open, you will be able to choose from several standard chart layouts. You can also right-click on the background area of the chart to open up more options for editing. Be sure not to click on the data area of the chart itself. You'll get a different menu option there. As you prepare the data for your charts, be clear about how granular you want your chart to be. Notice that in this daily chart of how long it takes to get ready to work, there's quite a bit of variation. But if you look at the weekly number, it's much flatter. You'll have a lot more actionable information in the first chart. As you review your run charts, there are some telltale patterns that you should be looking for. The first thing to look for is trends. Trends indicate an ongoing change in one direction or the other. In the example on the slide, demand is slowly increasing over time. You would see an upward pattern on the chart. Trends, though, are actually fairly uncommon on run charts that track process performance. You are far more likely to see a stepwise shift when tracking a process. This is typically an indicator that something broke or you made an improvement with some sort of Kaizen activity. Essentially, this shift on the chart shows a one-time change. In the case of a Kaizen, it would be expected. But if the shift was unexpected, you'll need to figure out what caused it. Another telltale indicator of something going on with your process is when you see an unusual pattern on your run chart. In some cases, patterns such as these can be easily explained. For example, on our website, www.velaction.com,
Thanks for watching this extended free version of our Lean Training System module video. If you want to watch the whole video, check it out at Velaction Videos. If you want to make sure you don't miss the next LTS video that we post, please be sure to subscribe down below. We also always appreciate likes as it helps us get viewed more and makes us keep adding additional content. Thanks for watching, and best wishes on your continuous improvement journey.